Hey, hello, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 28th of November, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner in there, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about it. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. Look, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, as always. So, yesterday I talked about this little idea. I'll just recap on what I've talked about yesterday. Yesterday I talked about this little idea that we're currently near that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. If we draw it from here, from the low of the 7th of November to the highest point of November, and yes, we can see that we have drifted slightly below that hurdle, below that area. So if you are looking for some lower levels, then in a way there is still a chance to consider that move lower. Now, at the moment, probably this is what I'm going to do. From the very short-term perspective, I'm going to consider maybe a bit of a retracement here, further retracement, because we're still trading, as long as we remain below the 23.6 here percent, and also while we remain below the highest point of September, which is around the 33,485, something like that. Yep, is that correct? Yep, that's correct. So then I'll aim for that 38.2 and this upside support line as well, and then we'll see. We'll see what we can squeeze out of this after that. Look, don't get me wrong, this is not really like a guaranteed move or something like that. No, this is just an idea, which, to be honest, I'm trying to find some sort of logic in all this. Sometimes it's difficult, but hey. This morning we got some numbers, or just, should I say, one number, if I'm not mistaken, from Japan, and that's the BOJ core CPI figure, which came out lower than the forecast, lower than the previous. Well, the previous was as the forecast, the 3.4, it came out at 3. So, in a way, what's concerning me here, that yes, inflation is dropping, but I think that, I've talked about this half a year ago as well, because the talks already started then, that with this rapid kind of interest rate hikes, inflation can start dropping. So basically, we could run into a deflation problem. Now, again, maybe depending on the region, I think that's probably how it should be interpreted. But I think Australia is not one of those. I'll get to Australia in a bit. But let's say countries like China, which I'll get to in a bit as well, and Japan, these might be suffering from, well, they might suffer later on from deflation. But again, at the moment, we're just observing. The only thing we can do is just observe at the moment, right? And then position ourselves correctly. So long story short, if, of course, we do see that deflationary moment, then, well, guess what? We could see... some more, or not more, but maybe some declines coming up. So maybe this is something that the market is expecting, because, November was crazy. November was, you can say whatever you want. If you were on the long side, if you're on the buy side, congratulations, guys. You did fantastic. If you were on the short side because you were thinking, hey, Well, we did 5% like or on an index, right? So, I mean, should correct lower, right? No, it continues to do the same amount on top. Like, I mean, oh my God. Like, okay. So, yes, a lot of people got caught out. I was not expecting, to be honest, to see like a rally like that. But hey, that's what the market does. So it kind of the whole the whole aim of the market is to kind of to ruin you. Yeah, if you stay strong, if you position yourselves and you cut your losses early, then it'll be fine. So long story short, for now, looking at Nikkei, yes, I'm considering maybe a bit of a retracement here, ideally towards this 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is around the 33,170 zone, or maybe this upside support line, or should I say the upper side of the, oh, sorry, my neck a little bit hurts today, the upper side of the rising channel, and then, yes, we'll take it from there. This previous rising channel, look, I mean, I have it still in the chart because I kind of like it. I want to see if it's going to carry any significance or not. Just purely out of curiosity. Not that it's really like very technically strong or something like that. No, it's just purely out of curiosity. So just sometimes you have those in the chart. Now China 50. So yes, drifting further south. I mean, but we're still holding above that 11,742 territory right here, which is marked by the inside swing high of the 24th of October. Now, so far so good. We are holding still above this area. Yes, I would say I'm still leaning towards the downside, but this time, I mean, of course, we're going step by step. So if we do drop and stay below the 11,742 territory, then yes, more sellers here could join in. So for example, in a scenario, if you did enter here somewhere at 11,883, it moved lower, you're still in this position, then probably your stop loss, you already put your stop loss somewhere in here, before this entry. But look, I mean, you do, of course, whatever you're comfortable with, but logically would be here. In case this reverses back to the upside, then it can actually protect you. It will protect you from losing money. So just kind of, we're all here about risk management. We are all about not losing anything and trying to manage our risk accordingly. So that's what I'm saying. So for now, yes, if you're in this position, congratulations, you can still hold it. But if you're not, then probably if you waited until here, then, well, this is the thing. I mean, at the moment, I want to see what's going to happen here and how this is going to play out. I'm not saying that this is like a clear, straightforward level. No, but it's just that it will be interesting to see how this plays out because we had a break here, but we failed to stay below it. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. So I'm observing the price action, but overall, I'm still cautiously bearish. For the upside, a break of this downside line is needed. Oh, by the way, I think one of my viewers here asked yesterday, JD Invest, I don't know if you're here or not, but you've asked me to remove the grid lines, but I did not, so apologies for that once again. I don't know, I mean, is it somewhere in settings? Let me have a look. Borders, wick, last high, bid, time zone, status line, title. Values, background, scales, bid and ask. Canvas, background, solid, grid lines. There we go. None. Okay. Okay, look. I'll remove that. There we go. I found it. So, right, guys. Let's save this for now. So, look, coming back to the indices here. So, I mean, JD Invest, if you're watching me, there we go. I removed the grid lines. Fantastic. So, if you look, for now, I mean, what I'm looking at here is still the same downside scenario. So, yesterday, we fell below this area, below this hurdle, and today we did try and had an attempt to push higher again, but we failed and we got a hold up near this 7,064 territory together with that 100-day EMA. It held nicely. So now the question is for me, can we drift further south? Well, look, this morning we got some preliminary retail sales figures from Australia. Those came out as a disappointment, actually. So the previous number was at plus 0.9. The forecast was for a plus 0.1, and that was already like a 9-time lower number, but number came out at minus 0.2. So the market did not like that at all. And yes, there we go. We saw this decline, and we're currently sitting around that 50-day EMA. So as long as we, let's say, remain below the 50-day EMA, then there's a good chance for a drift lower. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average. So this is where the interesting bit comes in. So yesterday I've drawn this Fibonacci, and there we go. I need to mark this highest point of November, the current highest point of November. Yes, look, we failed to stay above the 35,440 zone. I talked about that level as well. We did pierce through that, but we failed to stay. So, of course, everybody's looking for a nice correction lower. Let's have a look at November. So this is when we started. That's at the end of October. Let me just double check to see where's that price range. There we go. So from the beginning of November, so from the lowest point of November to the highest point of the current highest point of November, plus 7.46%. I mean, that is insane. Sometimes you don't do that in I don't know, like in a 3-month, 4-month period, you know. So okay, 7.5. So maybe of course, everybody thinking, hey, maybe that's enough already. Look, I would say this way. There is still potential for some upside. At the moment, I can see that we're still trading above that highest point of September, which is around the 35,357 territory. As long as we remain above that, then yes, we could see another a move higher. But to be honest, I would prefer to wait for a pop above the 35,440 zone here again, and if I get that, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in. We could potentially target the highest point of July of 2023, and then we could take it from there. In terms of the downside, now of course I'm keeping an eye on that highest point of September, but also I think I need to mark something else here. Maybe just something a little bit earlier, maybe something around this here. So 35,300 zone, something like that. That's the low of yesterday. If we do drop below that, then yes, I will consider a move to the downside, guys. So that's going to be my game plan here on the futures. Look, so far so good. There we go, JD Invest. Yes, good morning. Yes, this is what I was talking about in the beginning. I don't know when you've joined. Did you join from the beginning or not from the beginning? But yeah. Look, I'll have to admit that it does look a little bit more tidy. So you know, okay, you know, there's a go. There's 1-0 to you. But anyway, look, for now, the situation is this, at least for me. Yes, if I'm really also one of those people who are kind of looking for some downside on this one, I would like to see maybe a little bit of a correction here lower. But at the same time, I get it. We still have, let's say, the CB consumer confidence number coming out later on today. Okay, that one's expected to come out lower, to be honest. But if by any chance it comes out higher, well, guess what? We could see maybe a pop here, a little bit of more. And you know, why not to pop again, move nicely to the upside here, you know, take out a lot of traders and then reverse back down. So you can see on the monthly chart here, look, if the whole point is to go towards these highs here, the highest point of August or July, then we still have room. And look at this beautiful chart here. I mean, this is just spectacular. So that's why I'm not excluding the upside scenario yet. Although I like that one, but still, I mean, to go here towards that 35,850 zone somewhere here, I mean, that could be quite an interesting one. So let's say we pop higher, we go there, and then the next month, we kind of go back down. So, you know, we correct lower. So this would be, like I said, an amazing move. I mean, for the whole, if this week we go further north, that would be just, like I said, spectacular. I'm sorry straight away to the people who are short right now, but again, you know, the market does like to do these things. It could, like I said, it could go higher. It could actually, what it could do, it could pop higher, test this area, and then reverse back down, you know. So, and then, you know, next month we could maybe see a bit of a correction here to the downside. So let's see. Of course, let's see. I'm not rushing into things. Like I said, I'm watching the CB consumer confidence figure, which is coming out. House prices are also coming out, so something to keep in mind. There are a few Fed chair speakers, some Fed speakers basically. Christine Lagarde is speaking today as well. So for those European traders. So yes, a lot of interesting stuff coming out, a lot of hidden stuff. This is how I would say, not like straightforward, you know, not a lot of people are talking about that. And then after the event will happen, everybody will probably, because it was of that, you know. It's always like this. Anyway, so that's that Dow. Oh, by the way, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. There we go in the chat room. Hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Yep. S&P 500. So there we go. Let's see what's happening here. What's the situation? So from the 1st of November, it was from here to here. There we go. 9.2. Amazing. I mean, Dow is going to be the laggard. I mean, and guess which one is going to be the biggest gainer? Well, there's, you know, if the Dow is the laggard, that means NASDAQ is the winner. It's always like this. If Dow is the winner, the NASDAQ is the laggard. So, right. So, look, we got the 9.28, 9.30. Let's round it up here. 9.30 gain. I mean, the bulls are happy with this probably, but again, I'm not excluding the downside scenario. Oh, no, sorry, the upside scenario still, because it seems like we're struggling with lower levels. So that's why my downside scenario comes only from around here, somewhere from this 4,540 zone. If we get a nice drop below that, then yes, I'll go lower. For the upside, well, this is what I talked about this level yesterday. I mean, this is the highest point of September as well, but on the Dow, it's kind of working nicely. On the S&P 500, it's more of an oscillation line, so it's kind of oscillating around that line. So now some of you might say, but hey, Darius, what about the MACD? I'm like, okay, yes, the MACD is showing some, you know, potential, showing a potential idea to the downside. Now, yes, I mean, it's the momentum is declining, and we're gonna go into negative price action here. So negative momentum. Sorry, and we can see that my moving average here, the 12, it's almost crossing the 26th. So okay. In a way, on a daily chart, that works out nicely, or could work out nicely. Let's go back a little bit into history and check when this happened. So here back in April, it was a beautiful move here. I mean, it was, yes, we did decline, we did move lower, but I mean, only for a little bit, and then we rallied again. So then we crossed here, but then we've actually moved lower already earlier. So it wasn't really that clear. One of the clearest was here somewhere, where we started moving lower. Then the next few days we struggled to overcome this high, and then this is where we pushed lower. So basically, if to kind of follow this logic of this potential idea of a move lower here, what could happen here is that, let's say we could, you know, cross lower here, we could start falling off the cliff a little bit, but then it could stop somewhere here, find support, move back up, do something like we have here, for example, and then maybe it'll sell off. So it comes in line perfectly with, let's say, the idea of for this week, kind of, stalling or maybe even shooting higher, maybe making a false breakout and then kind of in December drifting back down. So look, I know I'm trying to foresee the future, but look, we're kind of doing that every day here, right? We're trying to play Nostradamus, and that's why for now I'm cautiously bearish because we're back below the lowest point of September, although I just said that it's more of an oscillation level. But if I need to find something to kind of jump off, then probably I'm going to keep an eye on this highest point of September and near the 4,565. And as long as that remains, as long as we stay below that, then yes, there is a chance to move a little bit lower. But I'll get more comfortable with the downside scenario if we do drop below this 4,540 zone. NASDAQ 100. So yes, NASDAQ, and let me just bring up this this marker here. So there we go. NASDAQ 100. How much? 12.23. That was the biggest gain. I mean, so far it's gaining around 11%. So on the futures, yeah. So 11%, guys. I mean, that is spectacular in a month. I mean, talk about investing in stocks, right? I mean, and if so, yeah. Look, for now, I'm also keeping an eye on this hurdle, the highest point of July, not the highest point of September right here, although it's also a good one, but we have surpassed that a while ago, so maybe it's not going to be like the most attractive level here to consider. So long story short, for now, I would say this way, that if we do drop below this 15,932 zone right here, I will consider a move lower. In terms of the upside, I would like to see a push above the 16,000 here, 16,062, something like that. That's the highest point of July. I mean, if we can get that move at the same time, if we just judge the short-term from the short-term perspective, if we look at it from the short-term perspective, then also we have this downside line, which in a way could be broken. So basically, yes, I like the highest point of November, which is around here near the which is around like here 16,000 something, like 173, something like that on my chart here. So yes, I do like that level as well, but I will start looking at some higher levels if we do pop above this downside line here. And then, yes, we will go from there. And yes, it will be quite an interesting moment to see if we can go further north. So that's my gauge here. And this is how I'm going to play this game. In general, you might say that, hey, maybe we're forming something of a descending triangle pattern, which is, yeah, fine. And also the MACD is showing us like we're crossing into the lower zone. Hey, I've seen this happening several times in the opposite direction. So, I mean, also where traders get wiped out. So just be careful. And again, today we have some data coming out. So just also be a little bit on the careful side. The German index, DAX, there we go. We are correcting lower. Houston, we are dropping. So look, for now, I mean, it's working out nicely. This 16,070 zone has been the level that I was watching. Yes, if we can get a break above that, then yes, great. I'll go for some higher levels. But for now, I'm seeing some moves to the downside. And as I said to you yesterday, I'm not gonna say anything else apart from this, that I'm gonna consider some lower levels if we do break this steep upside support line drawn from the low of the 27th of October, and we drop below the 15,935 zone right there, and then we'll go from there. The FTSE 100. So looking at the picture here. Yes, we're falling as well, but we're currently getting a hold up near this 7,468 zone. I talked about this yesterday. I said to you that, look, yes, it's an interesting territory, but I will consider some lower levels, slightly lower levels, if we do drop and stay below this little hurdle here, and then I'll aim for this upside support line drawn from the low of the 27th of October. In terms of the upside, I need to see a push above the 7,535 territory right here. If I can get that, then yes. At the same time, we'll climb above all of the EMAs in my daily chart here, and then we could aim for this downside line. Overall, we're in a triangle pattern, so not a very exciting triangle pattern, I would say. Maybe some of you might say, but hey, maybe we're not in a triangle pattern. Maybe we are in something. Oh, no, 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 no. We're in something like this. Maybe we are within a rising channel, which, to be honest, I wouldn't say that you're wrong, because look, if that's the case, if we are within the rising channel, then there is a chance to break out lower here at some point in the future, maybe, because if we look at it this way, the prevailing trend before entering that channel was to the downside. So normally this can be seen as a continuation pattern at a later stage. So, but while we remain inside the pattern, we could still see some higher levels. So don't get your hopes up yet. Don't get your hopes up yet. So, I'm talking to the bears. Because, again, we could see a drift lower, test this lower side of the rising channel, rebound, and push back up. That has happened. That we've seen this happening, so don't rush into things. Go slowly, step by step. So for now, I am leaning towards the downside as long as we remain below the 7,468 zone on the FTSE. In terms of the data stuff from UK, I mean, we didn't get much stuff. No. No, we don't have much data, so let me just double check very quickly. Tomorrow, maybe we get the BOE consumer credit. Yep, something like that. Thursday, nothing. No. Nationwide HPI, yeah, that's coming up. But yeah, the calendar looks a little bit more quiet, so I think that the FTSE will remain subject to other indices. Now, dollar, US dollar, there we go. We reached my target. So the idea was to aim for this territory right here. Fantastic hold up, great, mission accomplished. Now, what's next? Well, next, this is what I said to you, that look, after we reach the area, I'll take a pause. I mean, yes, ideally, I would like to see it sliding further south, but I can see that it's getting a little hold up here, so maybe it's ready for a little bit of a retracement of some sort, so something basically like this. Now, if that's the case, then basically a rebound here could be possible. We could see maybe a range starting. If that's the case, then we'll, of course, wait for a clearance of one of the sides of the range. But again, I'm not rushing into things yet. So for now, I'm keeping an eye on this little idea here, maybe for a possible rebound, as long as we remain above the highlighted zone right there. So again, also keep your eyes on the CB consumer confidence number from the US today, so we might see some action in the US dollar. If we do rebound here, then yes, maybe we could see some indices falling a little bit off the cliff. So let's keep an eye on those. So yes, jumping into gold, guys. Yesterday we had a nice push higher again. And my question actually is here, I want to redraw this a little bit. So yesterday we have tested the this area, the 2018 zone, and yes, there it came. Yes, we tested the 2018 zone, so it seems like this is the level to watch now. I think that I will have to redraw this a little bit. So we do have that 2021, 22 levels as well. I get it. It's very kind of getting cramped here a little bit. I totally understand that, but look, I think I'll start looking at some higher levels from around here, from around this 2018 zone. If we do get that pop, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high. Then I'll aim for my 2021-22 zones, and then we'll see. Then we'll see, because again, at the same time, I'm also kind of looking for a bit of a corrective move lower here, but at the moment, I am not getting that. So for that, I need to see some sort of clarity. And at the moment, look, from the short-term perspective, I get it. You don't want to miss out on this whole area right here. So this way, maybe we can actually bring back the this hurdle, this 2009 zone, which is the highest point of October. And if we do drop below it, then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a move lower here. And let me just drag, so something like this basically. So yes, if we do fall below this area, below this 2009 zone, then yes, I will consider a bit of a move to the downside. So yes, keep your eyes on that. Yeah, so long story short, that's my game plan. Honestly, I'm not going to really invent anything else here. Silver, so for now, we did push higher. We did move nicely to the upside, but we failed to reach my target, the 25 zone. Okay, that's fine. Came close to that. Now it's somewhere stuck here. So look, as long as we remain above the upside, the steep upside support line, yes, I will continue targeting the upside here. So if we do remain above this upside line, then yes, I will consider yes, a move towards that 25 zone. So I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit, so sorry about that, guys. In terms of the downside, yes, a break of this upside line is required for me, at least in order to, let's say, examine lower levels again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I've said this yesterday in my morning video, so not much has changed. Now, okay, one thing that I'm going to change is this upside line, which no longer is needed. And I think that it's better to draw this upside line. It's a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless a good one. So long story short, this one's drawn from the low of the 5th of October. If we I mean, even if we start drifting lower, this could still be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. Palladium, this is something that you don't look at very often, but I just wanted to point this one out. Look, we have this instrument on our system, on our platform. Excuse me, had to warm up my my throat here. So yes, and we are currently at a very interesting spot. So after a beautiful reversal back here from around this 950 zone, yes, it was very close to, let me just scroll back here. It was very close to this level here. The, was it the inside? Let me just check the monthly chart here. Nope. Why did I have it here? Let me just go back into history. So, there we go. So yes, it was that's the high of the inside swing high of the 25th of July, 2018. Came very close, tested that 950 zone, reversed back up, and we are now above the 1,000 mark again. So, look at it, it's bang on 950 zone. Fantastic. So we reversed back up and we're currently near this 1088 zone. So in a way, I'm kind of leaning towards the upside on this one, to be honest. I mean, but again, a confirmation break here is still needed. Until I get that, no examining of the upside. I need that break of this territory, this 1088 zone, a push above the 50-day EMA as well. If I can get that, great. But then I am also watching a few trend lines. Now, let me just check if this is going to work. Okay. Very tentative line. A lot of tentative lines, to be honest, but I think that this is a little bit, yeah, it kind of comes in line with this this area. So I mean, maybe there's no point of drawing this one, maybe a little bit something shorter. So yes, I think that this is a little bit more which makes sense. So if we do pop above this 1088 zone, then yes, I will aim for this downside line. I'll aim for that 100-day EMA, and then we'll go from there. So basically, long story short, where's my arrow? There we go. So something like that. If we break that, of course, if we break that downside line and we push above the 100-day EMA, then congratulations, we could start aiming for that 200-day EMA. Oil. So yesterday we had a bit of a roller coaster ride. I mean, that's a little bit annoying for some traders, but okay, it is how it is. The most important is that we stayed above the 73.90 level, which I talked about, and I'm going to keep an eye on that one, because if we do drop and stay below that, then yes, I will go lower. For now, I mean, I've also drawn this downside line, which is actually more of the neckline of a possible head and shoulders pattern. But for that, look, I need to see If this is a head and shoulders pattern, then yes, a break of this neckline is required. If we can get that, great, more buyers here could join in. So for the downside, I would like to see yes, as I said, the drop below this territory, and then I'll go from there. Natural gas, there we go. Beautiful hold up, beautiful look. I mean, we broke the upside line, so no longer need it, and we were respecting this downside line, so I like that. That's great. So yes, for now, I'm leaning towards the downside, but at this point, you can see probably why I'm saying a but is I need that confirmation break here. So after we had a decent decline here, we're currently getting a hold up here. So if we can clear this territory, this 2.86 zone, fantastic. I will go lower. I will go towards let me just grab one of these levels here. I will go towards this little territory right there, this 2.6 zone, and then we'll go from there, guys. Yes, we do have some lower levels. Maybe this one could be nice, but maybe something a little bit higher, maybe around here. But 2.5, yes, it does look attractive, appealing. But again, we need that confirmation break first. For the upside, well, for the upside, I would like to see actually a push above this barrier. Or should I say the barrier, for me, the barrier here are the EMAs, the 50 and the 200. If we can get a pop above those, automatically we will be already above the downside line, and we could see more higher levels. Bitcoin. Approaching this upside line. So look, I've said this yesterday and I also mentioned it last week. I have this upside line in here. For now I'm just keeping an eye on it, but it might not work out because it might not provide any support, because if it breaks, I mean, maybe we're actually forming a range here. That's why I've put this area, I've highlighted these two levels, these two zones. So long story short, I would say there is a chance that we could end up being with a range here. But at the moment, I'm still keeping an eye on this upside line. If we continue to trade above it, then yes, I will go higher. But I think that for me, the more comfortable approach here is to wait for a pop above the 38,000 mark and then go to the upside. Bitcoin Cash. Also, it's a little bit on the boring side, to be honest, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside because, again, I'm looking at this 100-day EMA. We're currently below it, and this, of course, potentially opens up the door towards the 200-day EMA, or at least towards the current lowest point of November near the 212 zone. That would be probably the more logical approach to aim for first, and then we'll go from there. Dogecoin, so something that yes, I'm also keeping a close eye on, and if we do fall below the 0.0756 territory, I'll consider a move back to these EMAs of mine here that I have on my chart. If we want to consider some higher levels, then yes, my straightforward approach here is from around the 0.0838 level right here, and then we'll go from there. AUDUSD. There we go. Fantastic move. Mission accomplished. I've talked about this, and there we go. I talked about this last week, the week before that. So I said that if we do pop above this territory, the 0.6522, I'll go higher. If we remain above the 200-day EMA, my next targets are these, this area between the 0.661722 levels. So there we go. We've reached this area. Fantastic, good result here. What's next? Well, next is this, that at the moment I'm going to take a pause, because if this fella here starts reversing sharply to the upside, guess what's going to happen with this one right there? It's going to fall a little bit. It's going to drift back down, maybe even test the 200-day EMA. So that's why I'm just going to leave it as it is here. I will mark, of course, this territory because this is quite an important one. So yes, if we do pop and stay above the 0.661722 levels, then yes, great, more buyers here could join in. AUDJPY. So looking at the picture here, what I'm looking at here is the barrier, this 98.66 zone. So I've talked about this yesterday. So basically the same game plan for the upside is still valid. For the downside, a break of this short-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 10th of November is required. At the same time, we could fall below the 97.67 territory, and then we'll go from there. AUDNZD. AUDNZD, looking at the picture here as well. I like this pair. I really do. I mean, look at this beautiful reversal from this upside line. So far, this upside line is doing a good job. And in a way, I mean, there is potential for this one to go higher. But of course, what do we need here? We need some bad numbers from, or should I say something, something in the monetary policy statement from the RBNZ tomorrow morning, because tomorrow it's I'm talking about the European time. So tomorrow morning we're getting the RBNZ interest rate decision. The forecast is for 5.5%, the same as previous. So basically, no rate hike, and the market is expecting that already. So we're seeing some weakness in the New Zealand dollar. Now, if it comes out the same, then actually, yes, I think that it could provide further weakness to the New Zealand dollar. So if it comes out the same as forecasted, then yes, it could add more weakness to the New Zealand dollar. And basically, I mean, not crazy weakness or something like that. A crazy weakness would be if we could see a cut. That would be some crazy weakness. But look, for now, we're just assuming that it's going to come out as 5.5, so maybe further upside here could be possible. What you can look at here as well is something around here, something around this downside line. If we get a break above it, then yes, I will go to the upside. And in terms of the downside, a drop below this upside line and a drop below the EMAs here could do the trick for a few more sellers. And so, long story short, that's what I'm going to be sticking to for now. Yes, as I said, the RBNZ. Oh, by the way, I'll also watch not only the interest rate decision, but also the press conference, which is coming out 1 hour after that. NZDCHF, this is what I talked about in RBNZ tomorrow morning. And also, look at this. I mean, I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but this is working out perfectly. So for now, so far, this worked out beautifully. I said that as long as we remain above the 0.53 territory, I could still target this downside line. And yes, I mean, in general, I still like it. So basically, if we do get a break of that, then yes, great, more buyers here could join in. We could then aim for the, let me just bring up a level, a horizontal ray. We could initially aim for the 0.5395 territory, or maybe the 0.54 zone, 5408. And if that gets cleared, then yes, the 200-day EMA is the next one to watch. So if that gets cleared, then yes, of course, I'm going further north towards that 0.55 territory, somewhere around there. But at the moment, I need that confirmation break first. In terms of the downside, I like this area, the 0.53 zone. I mean, it's so far doing a good job, providing good support. So why not to consider it further? So if we do drop and stay below it, not only falls breakout like here, but if we do stay below that, then yes, great, more sellers here could join in. And because all this area right here, yeah, it's a little bit on the neutral side for me. So yes, that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. USDJPY, beautiful move back down. Ooh, this is interesting. So yesterday I've talked about this, and I said that, look, we were still above this 148.80 zone. So as long as we would remain above it, then there is a chance to go higher. But I said that for me, the upside scenario will be from around here, 149.69. And there we go. Fantastic. Working out nicely in terms of not breaking above it. So it broke below this territory. So in a way, I have to consider a move to the downside. So this is what I'm going to do for now. I'm still going to remain bearish as long as we remain below this 148.80. If by any chance it travels back up here, Okay, I'll take a neutral stand. While it bounces around here, I'm just going to take a neutral stand. But for now, as long as we remain below the 148.80 zone, I will continue targeting the downside. If I see violations of this level, I will scrap this level for tomorrow. And yes, I will examine something else. But at this point, I'm keeping it on the chart, and I want to see how it's going to play out in relation to it. USDCAD, so continues to slide. Everything, not much to add here. Yesterday I talked about this. I said that if we do fall and stay below the 100-day EMA, my next target is the 200-day EMA. And what's interesting here is that USDCAD is drifting lower, so US dollar is actually reversing a little bit to the upside. So, but we're seeing some strength in Canadian dollar. Now, some strength in Canadian dollar, maybe that's kind of an indication that oil could reverse back up here. So, that's an interesting idea, because we know that Canada is heavily dependent on its oil exports. So, and if this is somehow, if it's related, then that's an interesting indicator here to see. So maybe oil is lagging, so we're not seeing any strength, but we're seeing some Canadian dollar strength. So maybe oil could push back up. We'll see. We'll see. Look, coming back to the pairs. So that's the game plan for USDCAD, USDCHF. So far, so good. Look, I've talked about this idea, and this is kind of something like a theory of my own. In a way, we have a strong decline and then a gradual decline. So normally what I see sometimes is a strong pop higher. But again, that's not 100%, because in general, according to the TA rules, I mean, this could be seen as actually a continuation pattern. So we saw a decline here, we have a gradual decline, and then we could see another fall here lower. Not as strong as this one, but for example, it could drift lower, it could test this territory, the area between the 0.8745 and 60 levels. It could test this area and then stall and then reverse to the upside. So just keep that in mind. But I'm also keeping in mind the downside scenario. If we do climb above it, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in. US dollar against the Mexican peso. Beautiful move. So look, in general, we are bouncing above this 17 territory. So somehow this 17 zone is the one to watch. In terms of the upside, I would say in order for me to go higher, I need to see a push back above the 17.28 zone here in order to consider a move towards my EMAs, at least. Because let's not forget that we are now trading below a downside line right here. So, but I think this downside line actually could play out nicely in favor of the examination of the EMAs. So, and also the MACD here, you can see it's reversing, it's trying to push higher. So let's see if that's all this is going to work out, because in general, I am kind of leaning maybe a little bit more towards the upside on the USD Mexican peso here. Why? Because again, a bunch of these indicators, like the downside line, maybe it's not a downside line, maybe it's actually a falling wedge pattern, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside. Also the MACD, also this we have in positive divergence here. Let me just put this on the chart. So something like this. So there we go, guys. I mean, we have a positive divergence. And yes, so in a way, there is a chance for this one to move nicely to the upside. So let's see, let's wait and see if that's going to happen. So for now, I am keeping a close eye on this territory. If we can get a break above it, above that 1728 and above this downside line, which is also could be the upper side of the falling channel. If we can get all that, then great. We'll consider a move higher. GBPUSD very quickly. So beautiful reversal back up. So yesterday I've talked about this level, the 1.2627, but I think it's adjustment time. I think that's, yes, it didn't really work out nice. I think it's maybe we should keep an eye actually on the same highest point of last week near the 1.2615. I think that's a little bit better. So if we somehow manage to stay above it, then yes, I will go higher. But if we don't, maybe a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible. GBPNZD, something to keep in mind for tonight as well. Just bear with me one moment. Oh, Yes. Tea is good. Hot tea is even better. So what do we see here on GBPNZD? One of the pairs that likes to move in big swings. And we are seeing a oscillation. We're not seeing those big swings. We're seeing oscillation. We're seeing that it's kind of moving around the 50 and the 100-day EMA. This just kind of proves to me that maybe this pair is looking for a nice, beautiful breakout. So if we try to find something here, at least some sort of logic, so we have a possible triangle. So we're basically, potentially, we are coiling up here a little bit. So what I'm talking about here is that if we do break one of the sides of this triangle, then yes, maybe I'll consider the next short-term directional move, where I could target this little territory here on the downside, the 2.0275 territory, and for the upside, maybe this one right here, the 2.10 area, somewhere around there. So basically, long story short, maybe this is my short-term analysis here. Again, keeping my eyes on the RBNZ. That could provide some movement soon. EURCHF, so one of my favorite ones as well. So we're still holding below this 0.9681 zone right here. So I need to see a nice good pop above it in order to go higher. For the downside, I would like to see now at this point a drop below all my EMAs. If I can get that, great. More sellers here could join in. So if we try to find a level here somewhere, maybe it's this one, the 0.9619. Maybe it could play out. So if we can drop below that, then yes, I will go to the downside here, and then I'll take it from there. This 0.9525 territory could be a nice good target, so we'll take it from there. So for now, long story short, we could be seeing here a possible range here, something like that. Let me just put this on the chart. So in other words, if you're not comfortable trading within the range, then you can wait for a nice breakout. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for a nice breakout in order to consider the next short-term directional move. EURCAD, there we go, another indication of a stronger CAD, Canadian dollar, and there we go. We are seeing a drift lower, but this is where I don't want to rush into things, because if I extend this, okay, look, I mean, we still have room to test this area. Maybe we'll see something like this, basically. Maybe something like a push higher here. If I just grab this downside line, so I mean, maybe we could see, yes, some further declines here, but I'm keeping an eye on this little area right here, this key support zone, which is the highest point of July. Basically, it was a good resistance area. Now it's playing out as a support zone. So we saw a bit of an attempt to break below it, and we did break below it, but we failed to stay below it. So now I am watching this idea. Maybe we'll see like a move lower here. So if we do stay below this 1.4881 zone, then yes, I will go for a larger correction here to the downside towards this upside line drawn from the low of the 28th of September. If that gets cleared, great. I will consider some lower levels. And finally, EURUSD. So it's a bit of a mess here, I would say. So I am keeping a close eye on this little area right here. Look, this level, this is the highest point. Oh, no, sorry, the high of the 30th of August. It did provide good resistance initially, but now it's kind of, it got violated. So I think it's maybe time to get rid of it. Yep, let's not overcrowd the chart here. Let's get rid of this. So if you're looking for some higher levels, I think we need to take a very simplistic approach here and just wait for a pop-up of the current, above the current highest point of November, which is around the 1.0965 area. If we can get that clearance, wonderful. I will go to the upside, but for the downside, you can see that we're approaching one of my levels here, the 1.0923. If I can get a drop below that, then yes, I will consider a move back to the upside here, and then we'll just take it from there. So long story short, I will consider a larger correction to the downside towards this upside support line drawn from the low of the 1st of November. And yes, I mean, this month, if we draw this to check how much we gained around 5%. So the euro gained about 5% against the US dollar. Maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. So yes, looking at this picture, I will consider some lower levels if we do break this steeper upside line. But again, at the moment, from the short-term perspective, I'm keeping an eye on this 1.0923 level. So guys, that's it for this session. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your rocket ships, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that. It really helps. So look, this was a quick recap of some of these instruments that I looked at yesterday, some new ones. Tomorrow we'll pick up on some other ones as well. So yes, let's see how the CB consumer confidence comes out today, and of course keep your eyes on the RBNZ interest rate decision. So yes, watching that one. I mean, really looking forward to it. And then yes, we will discuss it tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock GMT time. Bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.